Hello, in this video we will discuss about the inflammatory response and the inflammation, how it will occur. So this is the person contain barrier immunity as a skin, and the radiation or injury or some other things is the exogenous inflammation stimulus, which that is here is a bacteria which that will not invade without injury or other problem. So in this way, when injury will be occur, so the exogenous inflammation will invade into the blood circulatory system. So this is the endogenous inflammation also occur due to some reason. So the inflammation mission is the to inflammatory response to the inflammatory mission is the mobilization of the defense cell, limit spread of pathogens, and kills pathogen and initiate the tissue repairs. So remember that things. Let's begin to understand the process of the inflammatory response and the inflammation. So when for example, the injury will occur, the pathogen can be facilitate into the skin, inside of the skin. And when pass into the skin, the natural killer cell are already present and mast cell, which that will kill some pathogen, but it can create the inflammatory mediators will lead to inflammation in the blood vessel. Inside of the blood circulatory system, the monocyte and neutrophil is circulating. So in this way are circulating, and in this way the phase 1, the plasma fluid complement lysozymes, antibodies, platelets, and blood clotting factor will be released due to the permeability of the blood vessel due to the inflammatory response. This is the response of inflammation, and this allergen, the antigen which that is killed by this permeability. But remember that things, this is some pathogen will invade further, and the plasma fluid will be entered into the tissue first. After this, phase 2, the neutrophils contain hydrolytic enzyme, lysozyme, and toxic peroxide enzyme, which that will kill an endocytosis through neutrophil, the polymorphonuclear cell. This polymorphonuclear cell is the innate immune cell, remember. And when enter in the endocytosis will occur and produce the inflammatory mediators further. And in this case, the pathogen can invade and escape from this neutrophil to move into the blood circulatory system to cause inflammation further, but the adaptive immune response will control it. So the chemical cues guide neutrophils to the battlefield where engulf bacteria and destroy them. The toxic peroxide basically produced and reactive oxygen species produced from the neutrophil after the endocytosis of the pathogen, and the allergic reaction will produce due to the mast cell activation. We will not understand about that. So basically is reactive oxygen species will oxidative burst will be occur, and in this way the prevention will be further proceed. So the phase 3 is monocyte will become a macrophage when the permeability will increase, and the basically is the uh, uh, a blood vessel which that require the receptor to bind also, and in this way the blood vessel will permeable to move the macrophage into convert from the monocyte will lead to erythrocytosis of the filling of the neutrophil with pathogen, and the dead pathogen will lead to hydrolyze and neutralize this neutrophil. And after this macrophage, once the site is cleared, the pro-inflammatory mediator will be decreased, while the anti-inflammatory mediator like lipids, omega-3 fatty acid containing lipids, which that once the site is clear from the original insult, immune cells stop producing pro-inflammatory chemicals and produces the anti-inflammatory mediators, macrophage, which that will move into the lymphatic system after the permeability will increase in the lymphatic system. So the fluid will be move and circulate. In this way, the decrease of the fluidity and inflammation will decrease. So that is why the inflammation and the decrease of the inflammation. So the inflammation resolve will decrease when chronic inflammation will begin, will lead to damage the tissue. When damage the tissue will lead to many complications like disease progression, diabetes, rheumatoid arthritis, asthma, malaria, tuberculosis and TB for example, and the hepatitis, cancer, benign tumor and malignant tumor, arteriosclerosis, weight loss and AIDS by HIV progression. So in this way, the prevention by these due to the inflammation to quick response through innate immune system. So this is the DNA damage due to chronic infection will lead to insertion to a dysfunction of cell normal physiology. For example, the AIDS virus, which that insert their DNA into the T lymphocyte, and the progression of the disease and epigenetic mutation and autoimmune disorder can be possible. So anyway, this is the basically overview about the inflammation response, the inflammatory response, and the inflammation, how inflammation will occur. And this is basically is the quick overview. So the sign and symptom of the inflammation, bacteria or microbiome are present in the skin. When invade, will lead to sign and symptom will show the redness, heat, swelling, pain. This is the type of the symptom, sign and symptom. On the other hand, the internal is the fever. So anyhow, the treatment is the anti-inflammatory drugs and the anti-allergen, because the allergen it means the pathogen or antigen as an allergen, which that responds the mast cell to activate the B memory cell. That is the part of adaptive immune system, but we will not understand. So in this way, here is the world population going to more toxins, resisting to inflammation, the prevention to inflammation by the, we can prevent by this inflammation due to the fresh water, quits alcohol, smoking, controlled diet, fasting, exercise, and the antioxidant supplement which that can decrease, and so we can prevent the inflammation by the controls. So the world population going to more toxin resisting to inflammation, the prevention to inflammation by these things and prevention is possible. So remember that things we have discussed in this video, the inflammatory response and inflammation, the inflammatory response against the pathogen, against the antigen or against the allergen. So in this way, the inflammation is very harmful, which that will progress. The chronic inflammation will lead to tissue damage. So I hope you make sense about this video. So next video we will understand further about the adaptive immunities. Thanks for